most of the water types I like are within the first few generations, with the exception of Wishy-Washy being one of my favorite Pokemon. But I mean, I'm definitely not gonna waste a type like on Gen 7. And I don't remember if Wishy-Washy was in Sword and Shield, but it's not in Scarlet and Violet. So I don't really have to worry about that, which means I can do pretty much whatever game I wanted, and there's more than enough good water types. It's just either how early can you get them, or if there's enough that you can do a randomizer. Because there is a randomizer option that there's several randomizer options, one of which says this Pokemon and every one of them in every area is gonna be this Pokemon. So like Pidgeotto, for example, since it's right here, if it got, what the hell? If it got randomized to Magikarp, everywhere you run into Pidgeotto is now a Magikarp. But then there's a different option that I don't think I ever used, that you can randomize it to it'll randomize the Pokemon every time. So instead of Pidgeotto's being Magikarp, it may be a Magikarp that time, and then the next time it's a Blastoise. So maybe I could do that and just be like, hey, I gotta keep resetting until I get a water type. That would kind of suck, depending on how long it takes, but I guess thankfully water is, again, the most populous type. Not popular, most populous. There's more water than anything else, again, outside of normal types. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Because I don't want to... The thing is, I don't want to keep playing Gen 1 and 2. But I also would have to figure out what game would work. What game to play would be fun. Like, I like playing Gen 1 and 2. All the time. Gen 3, eh. And Gen 4 is eh. I can play them. I don't have issues. I have issues with them. But I don't have as many issues with them to do repeated replays. Like Gen 5 would be a fun one, but I don't know. I don't know. Oh, what the? Oh. Okay, so that's where we are. I know there's a couple up above. I think I'll honestly just get those off screen. Because I also have to get cut, and yeah, it's a bunch of fucking around I don't feel like doing. And it's only a couple trainers, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's not randomized, so it's not like there'd be any wild, crazy excitement that we'd miss out on. I guess it says somewhat where not having fly kind of sucks. Do ba do 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 ba da ba da 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 da. Oops. See, because there's also that dude there and that item. That I don't have just because I don't have cut and it's not worth dealing with all that. Oh man, I didn't mean to go all the way over into the grass. Shiny? Nope. I don't actually know. It could be a shiny if I were to transfer it. Whoops. I'm glad they're keeping Pokebank going, so we can still transfer Pokemon up. It does suck that they're pretty much closing every other application, I guess we could call them, for fuck. For wow. For the 3DS. Man, my brain was not gonna figure that out. But it was also something I don't know. Like, as a kid, Game Boy games were something, but growing up, it's like, you know, outside of a Yu-Gi-Oh game here and there, I only ever bought Pokemon games. No point in switching. Like, there are definitely different things I could come up with for, like, a type lock kind of thing. Aside from, like, going with water and then ghost and then one I would definitely like to do, but I'd have to figure out which game it would be viable, would be, I didn't know what to call them, a Dino Lock, maybe. I actually saw somebody be like, you know, ask if they were the only one that liked this particular style of Pokemon, and they referred to them as Kaijus. And yes, I know the whole what Kaijus are, blah blah, just not something I would have called them. But like Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Rhydon, Tyranitar, Aggron, those kind of Pokemon. And it's like, yo, like, I'd love to do a team like that. And do, like, a Nuzlocke with, you know, like, or a Type Lock, rather, with Pokemon like that, but I don't know how that would be plausible without just straight up manipulating the numbers like that. Is this the floor? Nope. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Fuck. Wait, was I already on it? Aha, it is this one. Okay. So what I like to do when I go to Silphco, every time I go straight to this floor, and just because I know the key card is over here, and it's so much easier than fucking around with all the tiles, I'll just go and I can open every key card door and just go up the floors normally. It was pretty much my way of figuring out how to get around. Oh wow, you bitch. How to get around having to deal with the warp panels and just not taking forever in Silphco. Like, I don't know how long I plan to stream, because last night I literally got no sleep. Like, I don't think I actually fell asleep until maybe 7 a.m. And it's not like I was up fucking around. I was laying down trying my damnedest. I don't have any medicines. See? And card key. And then I can just go through one by one into every single room. Normally, I think I would say my team would be, good thing you're not Steel type yet. I think for a Monster Dino Kaiju team, it would be Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Rhydon, Rhyperior, Tyranitar, and Aggron. And then if you absolutely wanted, you could have either Mega Tyranitar or Mega Aggron. I would definitely pick Mega Tyranitar personally. But then the cool thing too is it's also basically a sand team. Because you got Ground Ground, Ground Rock, Rock Dark, and Rock Steel. Now, Nidoking and Nidoqueen, they're immune to the Sandstorm damage. They just wouldn't get the buff from the Sandstorm because they're not rock types. So that could be cool to do. I also saw somebody throwing in, like, Pokemon like Feraligatr or, Krookodile. And it's like, I guess they kind of, you could say they fall into that category. Though, I personally feel like while I would pick for Alligator, because not only do I like for Alligator, but also because he's just cool water Pokemon. But I feel like it would kind of disrupt the theme of it being like a Sandstorm team, and also like all Pokemon that Giovanni would totally use. But having for Alligator would give you more type options. So it's kind of, I guess it just kind of goes to how you would want to play that kind of type lock. And even though Nidoking and Nidoqueen are very similar, they can do totally different roles. Same thing with Rhydon and Rhyperior. They're literally from the same evolution line. But Rhyperior's got that ability that lets you, that basically nullifies super effective attacks. And then you've got Rhydon, who you can actually turn into like a thick, bulky sweeper. So you can do some crazy stuff. And I mean, you can do all kinds of shit with other teams like that too. But it's like, that team in particular has always been a team that I've wanted to try and make work. Unfortunately, in Gen 9, that's just not doable. And I think the only Pokemon of those 6 that are even possible to have in Gen 9 is Tyranitar. Which I have a Sand team on Scarlet that I want to try and fool around with on Wi-Fi battles. I'm not competitive enough when it comes to Pokemon, and that's kind of makes it more difficult for me to be in a competitive format, because I'm trying to think, Gen 4 was when I really picked up competitive battle again. And then we had Gen 5, and I picked it up even harder with Gen 5. And I think Gen 5 is around the time when my Yu-Gi-Oh! Group was big into the Pokemon VGC games. And wheezing. Then Gen 6 just definitely wasn't it. I did some competitive battling in Gen 7, but I just wasn't fond of the whole Z crystals. But I did have a really fun ice team I liked using. And now with the change to hail, from hail to snow, in Gen 9, I feel like ice could do some shit again, but it's weird because it's like, so we got Ninetales back, which means we got Alolan Ninetales, which means you can do the whole Aurora Veil, setting up the weather, etc. But we already had Tyranitar, which allows for some fun Sand Team shenanigans. But now we've got, since we do have Ninetales back, Ninetales to me is such a better Sunsetter with Drought than Torkoal. And then we got Politoed back, which I like Politoed so much better than Pelipper as a Drizzle setter. So it kind of makes me want to make several weather teams to just do with some competitive battling. But again, I haven't really been into the competitive scene a whole lot in recent times, so it's just like, I don't know. I just don't know if it'd be worth it. Sorry about that. At least I left you with the dopest Pokemon music ever. Friggin' Team Rocket music is the GOAT. That's not helpful. Yeah. I swear, I remember these warp panels being such a fucking headache. And that's why, that's pretty much why I developed this method, to just not have to deal with them. But even like even in Sabrina's nope, in Sabrina's gym, my method is just always going horizontal. Because no matter what, if all you're doing is going left and right, you will get there. There might be a better method, but nothing's as simple as that method. Ita no. We're just gonna hit him hard, hit him fast. Oh, not quite. Oh, not quite enough damage either. I'm gonna start planning some more shiny hunts. But weirdly enough, more of you want to see shiny hunts in Let's Go than you do in Scarlet. So it's like I've got to plan shiny hunts for both games.